So about 2.5 years ago, we're in this phase, and so you are in a role where you've got some sort of responsibility to make some changes, and we talk about forming, storming, and now we're trying to get into norming and performing a little bit. Talk to us a bit about Salesforce CPQ.
Sure.
What does it stand for? Configure, price, quote. But this tool was new to you because you're not a technical or technology person by trade, right?
I'm an accountant by trade.
So numbers are important.
Numbers are important.
And so one of the solutions you looked at obviously was Salesforce CPQ, which is now Revenue Cloud. Tell us a bit about what that process looked like. So evaluating, having a look at different options out there. What was it that drew you to that as a solution?
For sure. So actually just before we kind of started this process, we actually went through a price change. So we, in early 2019, we changed our price and we managed that whole thing through spreadsheets, which was challenging for 15,000 customers or something globally at the time. Managing a price change through a spreadsheet was a mess. But with that, it also pointed to this real manual process that we had, but also kind of absence of oversight of what was happening, so that we were able to more accurately forecast or make sure we had controls in place, make sure we were comfortable with what we were selling from, like with the deals that we were doing from a commercial standpoint. Did they make sense? So we had a bit of a change in leadership at the time. We had some new, we had a new CFO come in, a new COO, and they had both come from businesses that had much stronger governance or guardrails, whatever the right word is there. They were just, I guess, they saw the pain and had also seen what good looked like, I think, at previous businesses. So they sort of came in and we went through a process of actually trying to solve for this disconnect between our sales and finance team by starting to look at what a standard deal looked like and how we could almost negotiate between those two parties on coming together to sort of solve for 80% of these deals, knowing that we still wanted to have the ability to be a little bit bespoke, to be a little bit flexible, but do so in a way that allowed both sales and finance to have a say in what would work for both of them. So that sort of led us to understanding that, there were gaps in things like approval processes, and they were, happening via Slack or email or not. Or, we had our sales reps still creating all of their order forms manually through a Word document, which meant that, it was taking the team probably 10 minutes to create any quote, and then you always have a fat finger moment, so there's always something in there that's just a little bit off, so then you've got to do it all over again.
Not enough zeros or too many zeros.
Or just an incorrectly spelt something, wrong dates, everything. We kind of had this classic startup situation. I'm sure we're not the first to have had this, where it was just a little bit of a mess. So in having these leaders come on board and kind of really getting to that boiling point around the just complexities and challenges and breakdown in those relationships, we went on that journey to look at how we brought people together on the same page as to what we did and didn't want to sell, what we could or couldn't support. And then from getting that, we actually realized that a lot of that was still very manual. So while we managed to get sales and finance to be friends again, the challenges around the amount of time it was taking to order a deal, the amount of time it was then taking for our customers to have access to the product that they had just purchased, it was just slow, and we knew that we could do better than that. So that's where we started looking at solutions like Salesforce CPQ. We had leaders in our business who had worked with CPQ before, and that kind of pointed us in that direction, and then went down that path.
So the first step was really business process.
Completely.
Get the sales team together, get the finance team together, make the rules, or the 80% rules, and a little bit of flexibility before looking at a technology solution. But the business process and making the rules only got you so far, you're saying?
Totally.
You still needed a technology solution to automate some of that pain away.
Yeah.
And put those rules into place.
Automate that pain away, that sounds like.
Automate that pain away?
So we knew that we could go out there tomorrow and buy a tool. And you could buy a tool tomorrow and feel really good about it. But if you don't know what you want the tool to do, then it sits on a shelf and it probably actually creates more pain and more complexity and more kind of workarounds if it's not built to what you actually want it to do.
Yep.
So there was that upfront work that we needed to do, also internally from like a change management perspective as well, right? You've gone from one way of working to something that feels very big brothery and rules and all the rest of it. And so we needed to bring people on that journey as to the why and get them on that page.
Yep.
So when we did start to look at a tool, we then A, knew what we wanted it to do, but B, we also kind of already had people supporting this whole thing, and it was then about making them more efficient in their jobs.
So rather than being a handcuff or a handbrake for the sales team, you're an enabler. You're giving them something that will enable them to sell more quickly, more accurately, and the finance team giving them a solution that they can actually fulfill.
Totally.
Yeah. And so that disconnect between sales, finance is getting solved.
Yep.